Heyo everybody, this is Dredscythe, and
Hello, boys! I'm back!
that's right, after nearly a year, year and a half, 2 years, a decade, who knows how long it's actually been since the last video I did was uploaded for everyone's viewing pleasure. It's been, but that's all in the past now, and we're just gonna get on with it. So basically, I'm coming back as I've kind of done fancy meme-ish Twitter posts stated. Basically, I just want to come back. I want to do video content, more or less just, lend my voice as I've done in the past in written form, like with development hell articles that I did on blizzpro.com, or just, be something a little bit more than what I do with the Diablo 4 team on Maxroll.gg that I'm currently a part of. Shout out to those guys. So the whole point of these videos that are going to be done now and in the future is I want to keep them short, maybe between 8 and 10 minutes, maybe a little overtime here and there, but just talk about like whatever the main topic is that week or 2 weeks. Not gonna hold myself to such a rigid schedule, because I want to make sure when I do these videos, unlike the going philosophy of content creation and sometimes even life in general, where everything must be efficient and everything must be to make a dollar, I'm like, no, I just want to do content because it's fun to do. And sometimes it's very easy to go over that line and have it not be fun. And I've crossed over that line back and forth, actually, where it is fun, then it isn't, then it is again, many times in the past, because I've been doing this for 12 years with Diablo 3, let alone, a decade prior to that. With other games and communities, community settings, websites, forums, you name it, I've probably done it. So at the end of the day, I just want to make sure I'm having fun, because if I'm having fun, then these videos come off better, and then you, the audience, will have a better time along with me. So before we get into some Diablo 4 talk, now that we've talked about what the videos are going to be, just want to talk a little bit about me. The one rare thing I like doing about myself. What have I been up to the past year or two, besides, like most people, with the pandemic and just holding up in your house and playing video games and wishing you can go outside and touch grass and be with people again. Well, we can do that now, but back a year or two we couldn't. My child has gone from, the infamous terrible twos that didn't actually happen to now being a 4-year-old who is now a teenager in personality and is gaining opinions and is having her own unique thoughts. And I'm not sure this is a good thing. I think there will be a day where my wife and I will be very overwhelmed by our child. So there's that. Our dog is just as fluffy as ever. So it's also a cute thing. And yeah, we're just doing what all of you out there are doing. Just getting on by day to day, and especially us in the Diablo community, just trying to make it to Diablo 4 one piece with enough sleep that we can just blast the game at release and have fun while doing it. So we'll move on to actual Diablo 4 talk for a little bit. I'll keep it broad level because, again, I keep the video short, and other videos can tackle more specific topics. Good old Paragon. If any of you know my thoughts on Paragon in the past and the trials and tribulations I put myself through, that's probably going to be one of the first topics I'll do in its own video after this one. But in broad strokes, Now, I've been part of many past testing periods, and like most min-maxers, people who care about Diablo 4, been following it ever since its announcement, even before then. Whenever we thought it was going to be announced, yet it wasn't, and etc, etc. So, my general opinion of Diablo 4 is that it seems like it's in a really good place. And I think even more importantly than that, the development team, which granted had a sense of that they had to kind of prove themselves in a way, prove that they understood the failings of Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 in their own regards, and the successes that Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 had in their own regards. And with those learnings, understand what they want to do with Diablo 4 and how to make this amalgamation of a Diablo game that we will all come to know as Diablo 4. And I think for the most part they have succeeded in doing that. It's a hard thing to do, because the Diablo community as it stands now is actually more fractured into camps. I'm not saying fractured in the sense of divisiveness, but just there's your traditional Diablo 2 camp, there's your new Diablo 3 camp, there's a small portion of your Diablo Immortal people who are also giving Diablo 4 a look. And then there's outside action RPG communities, people who are playing Last Epoch right now, people who are playing Path of Exile right now, and they're all kind of looking at Diablo 4 in their own unique perspective, and they're all weighing the pros and cons, if they're liking it for this reason, disliking it for that reason. So D4 has an almost impossible challenge to try to court each one of those particular groupings of the community within Diablo and outside of it, franchise wise. And I feel like they're doing their best to just make a solid game that will please a lot of people, but not everybody. And I think the most important thing is set itself up to do simply impactful things in the future with seasonal content, just general additions, and hopefully as we move towards multiple expansions, not just the low-hanging fruit of expansion, new additional classes, new systems, adding depth to current systems, all that kind of stuff. I feel they're doing a good job. So as I look back at Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, even Diablo Immortal, I feel that Diablo 4 has potential to probably be the best game at release, as long as they can get the relative strength of each class to be about the same. Not that they'd be perfectly balanced, and I've said this before, balance is kind of like a four-letter word. It doesn't really exist. But if the relative power of each class is the same, and what I mean by that is Nightmare Dungeons are the only system in Diablo 4 that have an independent difficulty scaler to the rest of the world. So as long as each class can say do a 70, a 75, and 80 relatively with the same relative investment in gear, time, and everything, that's all we really need. And quite frankly, that's all we ever really want, is just to make sure that every class is good. Besides that, everything looks good, and it's just gonna be, what do they do for that first season? How deep do the claws, metaphorically, of the season go into our characters? And just really making sure that seasons are impactful on what we do on a day in, day out basis. So yeah, that's about it. So again, I'm back. Semi-regular content. We'll figure this out together. And like, comment, subscribe. Doing it old school. And I will catch you all in the next video. See ya.